I also want to bring in on this broadcast Raj Chengappa, Group Editorial Director, who had a chance to meet with KCR. And let's put out those pictures as well. Those are the pictures of your meeting, I think, just a few days back, Raj,
yes.
in Hyderabad, on the outskirts of Hyderabad, rather. You sat down with him. And the mood that we get on the ground, and when I've covered KCR's rallies, is he comes across as very calm, very confident, truly a one-man army of the BRS. Is he that confident when you met him in the interview as well of a win?
You know, I was surprised, actually. We'd gone to his farm along with Amarnath Menon, my colleague. And here was this huge political storm that had broken out. I mean, the polls going on. And this man was like the eye of the storm itself, you know, calm, composed. And when we look, reports were there that there was high anti-incumbency, and it was certainly going to be tough for him. In fact, we were thinking of, you know, back to the wall or fight for survival. But here, he said there's a pro-incumbency wave, pointed out to how Naveen Patnaik and Jyoti Basu, didn't mention Mamta, I may have forgotten that, had won successive terms as chief minister. And he thought he was going to do it despite whatever everybody else said. And as we spoke to him, you know, I asked him very interestingly, I said, so how are you so confident? And he said, just look at the benchmarks. And that's what is interesting about his response. He plays with facts. And he said the per capita income of Telangana when he took over in 2014 was around 1,12,000. Today it is 3,16,000. That's almost treble. Now, the other point was in terms of economic growth. He said that Telangana was growing at the rate of 12.7%, the GSDP, and that was higher than the all India average, you know, 2% points higher than that. That's impressive. And then he talked about the fact that, you know, when he took over, the state, you see, after all, Telangana is, you know, in a very arid zone of the Deccan Plateau.
Right.
And he said there was mass migration at that time. Farmers had no water and things. He said, when he took over, he focused on two things. One was on irrigation and the other on power. And actually, you know, there were these irrigation tanks that were there that had gone defunct, and he blames Andhra Pradesh that was, you know, for neglecting them. He revived all of them. These are interconnecting irrigation tanks. And also, you know, the topography of Telangana is a bit disadvantageous because they have two mighty rivers, Krishna and the Godavari, but you have to lift the water because there's a 500-meter sort of height difference that's there. And he did this in his first term and in his second. And the result is that Telangana is now considered the sort of, you know, in terms of paddy, competing with Punjab. It is now the rice bowl of the south. So you have three or four, and he talks of industry as well. Power, he was able to establish an industry. He had this terrific scheme which is called TS iPass, which means that industry can get all its approvals, 57 clearances within 15 days if they found that it was, you know, a genuine investment. And on the 16th day, if they didn't do it, they were, I mean, if the government didn't clear it, it was deemed a sanction. So if you see that, you know, he just talks on the economic side of it. And look, all, you know, analysis shows that if there's good economic growth, generally a government is re-elected. But there is also this mood, as you would be saying, if you're going down to look at it, there is also a mood for change. How strong is the mood, and whether that will blow KCR away is to be seen. You know,
you mentioned irrigation, and that's, I think, something that he's very passionate about. The irrigation project of Kaleshwaram, which the BRS has been boasting of, has also become an Achilles heel, a political Achilles heel of sorts for the BRS, for KCR, because there are allegations of corruption. There are allegations that, you know, the barrage in the dam itself is very badly constructed. The irrigation project is full of loopholes, etc. Has he responded to these allegations of corruption as well, Raj?
Yes, we asked him precisely that. In fact, we talked about the Kaleshwaram project and the fact that 2 or 3 pillars, one pillar had collapsed and the others had cracks on them. And he said, look, firstly, this is the world's largest project. It's 80,000 crores. And there are, you know, hundreds of these pillars across. In one particular place, this had happened. And he said that, firstly, he thought it was a bit of a conspiracy that is happening close to the elections. And secondly, he said, the fact is the state is not going to lose any exchequer. L&T, which constructed it, which is a very reputed company, is going to take care of that particular place. And he also criticized the Congress for exaggerating. He said, the Congress says, I took 1 lakh crore. for this project, but the fact is it's 80,000 crores, and how can they say the total cost was that? So this is true exaggeration. He also pointed out, and I asked him this, there's this business of his MLAs. Say, KCR, in his second term, seemed to have delegated a lot of responsibility to his MLAs to do what they want to do in each of these states, including officers and transfers and everything else. And he says, and he's actually renominating all those MLAs, though other polls show, not his own poll shows, that there's a lot of anti-incumbency against those MLAs, not necessarily just KCR himself. And he's renominated all of them, which people think is an indication of how insecure is the opposition party say. But he says, look, those chaps, show me one example of corruption against them. Not one wicket, he uses a cricketing term to say, not one wicket of mine has fallen because of corruption. Where are the charges against them proved, or anyone really brought up that? And that is the folly, I think, of the opposition parties, that they have not been able to emphasize that aspect during the 10 years that he's there. Bringing it up now, they should have had more hard proof.
You say that he is calm, composed, but there are many who are saying that signs of him being rattled, Raj, is in the fact that he's chosen this time to contest from 2 seats. Gajwel, yes, is his stronghold, it's a safe seat. Kamareddy, why did he choose Kamareddy? Why is he going ahead and contesting from a 2nd seat? Is it because he's unsure and keeping a safe seat, etc.? Because obviously at the end of the day, Gajwel is a safe seat. So there are a lot of questions about what really is the strategy behind choosing a Kamareddy, which won't necessarily be a cakewalk for him.
In fact, I asked him this point blank, and I said, look, you're so confident, then why are you doing it? I mean, you won Gajwel twice, in 2014 and 2018. And if you're saying there's a pro-incumbency way, why are you standing? So he said, look, there's a good reason that I'm standing from there, and I'll only tell it to you once the elections are done. But from, the speculation from others, not proven really, that really what he's doing, which he talked to us later, and I think you played some of that, was KCR seems to have national ambitions. He thinks that after doing 2 or 3 terms there, just like Prime Minister Modi, that he should now shoot for national politics. He tried that earlier. That's why his party's name was changed from TRS to BRS, from Telangana Rashtra Samithi to Bharat Rashtra Samithi. But that didn't really take off, the federal front. And I asked him this question, how come you're asking for a non-BJP, non-Congress? Why not the Congress? BJP, one can understand. And he had utter contempt for the Congress and said it's a flop party. But let's not forget that Congress is his main rival in his own home state. But when it came to his plans, he did hint to me that he would, and he said, Ab ki baar Kisan Sarkar. He believes that the farmers have got a raw deal across the country. That's one of the reasons why he brought that Raitu Bandhu scheme, which gives them 10,000 rupees per acre every year. And he says that, India is the only country, in every other country in the world, farmers are subsidized. Here, we take back from our farmers. And he believes that, if he moves, pushes a movement on Kisans, that the time is ripe for that. So KCR, I suspect, is partly the 2nd seat is being nursed as a kind of a Lok Sabha constituency and would be his platform. But he assured me and he said, look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to do it from the state itself. I'm not drifting. And he's very happy with what happened in Maharashtra. Of course, it's a long, long way for him to go.
Very true. But I think he's given us a sense of really what his 2024 plan is, his national ambitions, and much, much more. Raj has just given you a sense of some of the topics really that KCR has touched upon.
And may I just add, Akshita, just one quick thing. I talked about the economic growth and his confidence. Look, KCR didn't really sit back and say, I'm going to win. Long before even Congress and the BJP tried to do what they did, he announced a full list of his candidates, almost 115 of the 119 seats that are there. The BJP, and this was in August, the BJP and Congress only did it in the last few weeks. Then he went around. He's going around every constituency. He had covered 36 by the time we met him just before Diwali. He's going to cover 100 of them, where he spreads his message of change and continuity, and his new slogan where he says, from good to great. So he's got his ear to the ground, and let's give him credit for that. Of course, it's still a tough battle.
Yeah, very true, and that's why he's referred to as a one-man army. He's out there campaigning in almost every single seat, because he could be really the change that BRS needs, going by at least some of the opinion polls that suggest that there is a strong anti-incumbency against the BRS.